Welcome to State of the Offense. Today, we will take a look at the quarterback situations in the NFC South to help you prep for your fantasy football drafts. One of the four quarterback jobs in the NFC South is openly contested down in Tampa Bay. The position in Atlanta has a young quarterback who's the leader in the Falcons clubhouse right now, but there's a veteran quarterback getting paid more money down in Atlanta. The two teams where we know the day one starters for sure are in New Orleans and Carolina. The first team we will discuss today is the Buccaneers, who have a training camp battle between former number one overall pick Baker Mayfield and third-year prospect Kyle Trask. Baker Mayfield has been declining and falling out of favor as his career has gone along. Football observers viewed Baker Mayfield as one of the rising young stars in the league, but his play has been declining ever since playing through a shoulder injury in his last year in Cleveland. Kyle Trask was selected in the second round of the 2021 draft to learn behind Tom Brady and Blaine Gabbert. Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich picked him to be Tom Brady's successor. He has been around great quarterbacks and very well-respected offensive coaches in Tampa. Trask was a Heisman finalist at Florida and got the Gators to the SEC championship game in 2020, and he has the big build of traditional pocket passers. Byron Leftwich was replaced by Seattle quarterback coach Dave Canales, who produced good results for Geno Smith in 2022. Baker Mayfield is currently at the top of the depth chart, but Todd Bowles is rotating the two quarterbacks in the starting spots in the preseason. In the first preseason game, Mayfield with the first team outplayed Trask playing with the second team. Baker Mayfield saw action with both the Panthers and the Rams, and he was very underwhelming. He only averaged 14 fantasy points per game, which placed him as the 46th quarterback in average points scored per game. Baker Mayfield is currently getting drafted as the 31st or 32nd quarterback. Yahoo rates him as their quarterback 26. The average draft position of both Mayfield and Trask is after pick 168, which makes them undraftable in a 14-round league. And it should stay that way unless Trask breaks through in the preseason. I currently rank Mayfield as my quarterback 32 and Trask as my quarterback 33 because this is the most uncertain quarterback spot going into the NFL season. In Atlanta, the Falcons organization appears to be willing to give 2022 third-round draft pick Desmond Ridder the first chance to be their starting quarterback. They did sign former Washington starter Taylor Heinicke in free agency to more guaranteed money than Ridder's entire rookie deal. No matter how much they try to hype up Ridder, a $14 million contract with $6.3 million guaranteed is a lot of money for a backup quarterback. If you know that your young guy has what it takes, it's better to spend that money on a starter on either side of the ball who's going to help you win. In limited action as a rookie, Ridder was below average. He also did not show the running ability in Atlanta that he showed in college at Cincinnati. Ridder ran for 2,169 yards and 28 touchdowns in college. In 4 games at the Falcons, he only rushed for 64 yards and had no touchdowns. Ridder did, after all, replace Marcus Mariota, who was one of the more mobile quarterbacks in the NFL, who ran for 438 yards and 4 touchdowns in his 13 games in Atlanta. So it's not like running quarterback was not part of the Falcons' offense. Ridder only scored 13.8 fantasy points per game in his 4 starts, which was right after Baker Mayfield's average. Ridder is not getting drafted. Yahoo has him ranked as their quarterback 28. Taylor Heinicke had 9 starts in Washington last year. He averaged 18.9 fantasy points per game, which ranked him as the 31st quarterback in the league. Heinicke is not getting drafted either. Yahoo ranks Heinicke as their quarterback 40. I actually believe that Desmond Ridder will be the starting quarterback in Week 1. With the addition of running back Bijan Robinson in Atlanta, I believe that Ridder's athletic ability from his college days will show through and be utilized, and Desmond Ridder may emerge as a surprise dual-threat quarterback the same way Daniel Jones did with the Giants last year. If so, Ridder will surpass his preseason rankings pretty easily. Ridder is my quarterback 30 and my 124th player overall. I think that his rushing upside from the quarterback position is something to keep an eye on. In the passing game, if Drake London and Kyle Pitts are both healthy, Ridder may actually put up some good passing stat lines as well. If Taylor Heineke becomes the main quarterback for the Falcons, he'll pretty much be what he was in Washington, and I think that London and Pitts will have better numbers with Heineke than they would with Ritter. The Saints took a giant leap of faith in acquiring Derek Carr this offseason to be their new franchise quarterback. They guaranteed Carr $100 million of his $150 million contract. Carr had 9 very up and down years with the Raiders. Some of that obviously lies on the instability and the ineptitude of the Raiders organization, but Carr proved that he cannot carry a franchise like a Patrick Mahomes or a Tom Brady. I think that Pete Carmichael will get a lot out of Carr this year. The Saints have a good wide receiver group, deep tight end group, and running backs who are good receivers in the passing game. Carr only ran for 102 yards last year, so everything you will get from Derek Carr in fantasy football will come from his passing stats. Last year, Carr averaged 21.7 fantasy points per game, which was good enough for 22nd in the league. He sat out 2 games at the end of the year in Las Vegas, but he still finished as the quarterback 16 in total points scored. Carr only missed 2 starts with the Raiders his entire career before he was benched at the end of last season, so he's pretty reliable and durable. I really like the New Orleans skill group, but the offensive line has been an annual disappointment. If Carr is protected well and the running backs produce to their talent level, Carr will outproduce his average draft position pretty easily. Carr is currently the quarterback 28 on Yahoo, their 133rd player overall. On ESPN, Carr is the quarterback 23, and he's their 168th player overall. I rate Carr as my quarterback 22, player 96, and I wouldn't be one bit surprised if Carr finishes in the top 10 to 15 range of fantasy quarterbacks. I only rank him lower than this because Michael Thomas and the offensive line have to stay healthy for Derek Carr to reach this level. The law of averages say that Michael Thomas and the offensive line are due for healthy years at some point, but my question is to Saints fans, can it all come together in 1 year for the Saints? Bryce Young is the best decision maker in the pocket to come into the NFL since Joe Burrow. Every fantasy site is snoozing on this guy because he's a rookie. I like Carolina's offensive talent, and I believe that Bryce Young can support 3 successful pass catchers in fantasy football in Frank Reich's system. Frank Reich got 33 touchdowns, 7 interception season from Carson Wentz in Indianapolis in 2021. If Frank Reich can get a 33 touchdown season out of Carson Wentz, he'll get more out of Bryce Young. I expect Bryce Young to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. Why can't he have as good a rookie season as Justin Herbert in 2020? He can, and he probably will. In fantasy drafts, Bryce is going as the quarterback 21 or 22. His draft position is between 125 and 163. Yahoo ranks him as their 29th quarterback. ESPN ranks him as their 24th quarterback. I'm going out on a limb here, but I really believe in Bryce Young's talent and the Carolina situation. Bryce Young is my quarterback 11, number 78 player overall. I want Bryce Young as my quarterback 2 on every fantasy football team that I have. There's a 50-50 chance that he'll be better than every single quarterback that you draft after the 5th round, and I'm willing to take that risk. If you like today's coverage of the NFC South quarterbacks, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.